Welcome to the Justice Room. Your life, your rights, your options. Experience and learn from discussions with legal professionals and other experts about the law, its challenges, and how it could affect you. Here at the Justice Room. Welcome to the Justice Room. We have a question here that I wanted to ask you, and I think we somewhat very briefly talked on it a little bit. You said you worked on civil cases, you also worked on criminal cases, but what type of law do you have experience with?
The cases that we handle across the board right now are criminal, but they also have some administrative and civil components. For example, on DUI cases, we do DMV hearings. That's an administrative hearing. We do those all the time. Okay. In domestic cases, oftentimes we'll represent people that are either trying to get an injunction. We'll represent the petitioner who's trying to seek protection from the court against someone that may have done violence to them or had threatened them, or on the criminal side, client who may also have that. Okay. Beyond criminal, though, I've done small claims cases. We did a lot of civil litigation, low-end contract disputes, those types of things. And so as it relates to my position that I'm running for, the things that I think are relevant to the listening audience are that in Seminole County, right now the county court judges do a rotation. The position that I'm running for, the judge does what's a 5-week rotation. 4 of those weeks is criminal and traffic, traffic tickets, citations, those types of things. And then 1 week they go and do small claims. They do landlord-tenant. And so that's kind of, I think, where my experience relates into the position that I'm running for.
Okay, now I'm going to jump around these questions a little bit because some of them, I want to kind of try to stay focused on what we're talking about. What made you decide to go from being an attorney to running for candidate judge?
Something I've always wanted to do. I believe, as I said, very strongly in our judicial process. I've always seen myself as someone that had the right type of character and personality to be a judge, and this is where the job gets a little hard talking, about yourself. But I think that from a temperament standpoint and a personality standpoint, I feel like I'm very well suited to be a judge, and it's something I've always wanted to do. The timing of it was something that I felt, I've done criminal defense, I've done prosecution. I've spent nearly every day for the last 12 years in and out of courtrooms. I feel like I've got the real-world experience it takes to do it, and the opportunity was right to run for judge now, which is why I did it now. Okay.
How long now we want to let our listening audience and our viewing audience know that this is the Seminole County candidacy for county judge.
Correct.
And so we're going to be asking questions a little bit more geared towards Seminole County, Florida. And so that leads me to my next question, which is, how long have you lived in Seminole County currently?
Since 1984. Okay. Moved down from a suburb of Chicago when I was a kid, and other than the 2.5 years I went to Miami for law school, I've been even then I was a permanent resident of Seminole County. But for about 26 years.
And you reside in Seminole County today?
I sure do. I live in Winter Springs.
Now, what qualifications do you possess that make you stand out as a candidate for this position?
I think first and foremost is the hands-on experience. I'm not going to need to go into court and learn about the county court process. And there's still going to be on-the-job training, don't get me wrong. I think there's always going to be some degree of that. But certainly the day-to-day ins and outs of the process I'm very comfortable with. And so I think from that standpoint, if we look objectively at my experience, hopefully the listening audience will see that I've got the most hands-on experience. And in terms of personality and character, there are certain things that are incumbent on a judge, and not putting yourself before the process is important. I'm someone that takes the process seriously. I don't take myself too seriously. Right. I'm not doing this because of the position of power. I'm doing it because I believe in doing something more meaningful for society, and I think that this is the right avenue for me.
That's going to lead me into my next question. What experience do you have that qualify you to be a great judge in Seminole County?
Well, I'm in touch with the issues that Seminole County has to deal with. I mean, having been there for 26 years, I know what challenges that we face as a county in general. I think that being able to step in with that background and experience, and certainly with the legal training I've had, I think puts me in a position where I'm going to be able to take on the reins and hit the ground running. There's not going to be a lot of learning on the job, as I said earlier. Also important, and I think something that I'd like to turn the listeners' attention to and the audience's attention to is some of the language that's found in one of the endorsements. I was endorsed by Lawson Lamar.
That was actually going to be one of my next questions.
And it's hard for me to talk about myself, but I think if you were to go online to my website, which is ladanforjudge.org,
okay,
and read Mr. Lamar's endorsement of me, I mean, I think he touches on the characteristics and the issues that are really relevant for the voters as it relates to what you want a judge to have, the qualities. And a lot of times we come back to the same term, and that's temperament, judicial temperament. Well, what's judicial temperament? What does that mean?
Right.
It just means that you have the right combination of character, personality, and how you would handle people.
Okay.
And so ultimately, when someone comes before me, if I'm fortunate enough to be elected to county court judge, I want them to know that when they come in, I'm going to be fair and impartial. I'm going to listen to all of the evidence and all the information, and I'm not going to be prejudging anybody or anything based on their position in life or based on what side of the aisle they're on.
Right.
But taking those collective experiences that I've had and giving everyone the opportunity to have the equal justice that they seek when they come before you as a judge. Okay.
I'm going to take a quick short break, and so that you have a chance to look at some of the other questions also that we're going to be talking about. But we're going to take a quick 2-minute break, and we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about your involvement in the Central Florida community.
Great.
Okay, so we'll be right back with Candidate Judge Amir Ladan.